Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today. Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is a very special guest. I've got Billy Zalba, who is a family friend of my fiance. It's actually a cousin. I don't know how you guys are. You're married to her cousin, but you actually have a pretty cool story that relates to hockey that I want to share. You started out playing hockey in Canada because that's where you're from, in Thorold, right? Is that how you say that?
Thorold, yep. Thorold, Ontario,
Thorold.
yep. It's
Thorold.
about 10, 15 minutes from Niagara Falls. So right around there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I didn't know that that's where you were from. And my grandmother and grandpa were like, hey, we're going to take you on a trip, and you can go anywhere in the continental United States that you want to go. And I said, let's go to Niagara Falls.
Oh, geez. They must have planted that in India or something. But no, it's a cool place to go. You know, one of the how many wonders of the world are there?
Yeah,
7 wonders, 8 wonders, 8 wonders. I think it's 8 wonders of the world. You know, it's one of them, and it's a cool spot. It's very industrialized. Like it's got casinos, it's got gift shops, it's got wax museums. It's super cool. Don't get me wrong. For somebody that doesn't live there, it's a cool spot, but I can see why you'd want to go there. So.
Yeah, no, and I want to say I was, because my grandfather was still alive at the time. We went to Toronto for a little bit. Had I known about the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto at that time, I had just started getting into hockey, but not really playing, but just watching from a fan standpoint. I want to say, like 8, 9. So I was probably 10 or 11. At that time, because my grandfather passed away in 92, if I'm not mistaken. So that would have been 10. So it was.
So funny story about the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
and so I ended up in here, and once you say that, I've been there probably 2 or 3 times, and I actually have a stick and gloves in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
funny story.
Yeah, from your time playing in Kansas City, right?
I do. Yeah, it was a cool story. 22 years old, growing up in Canada, thought my junior career was over. I went to university, wasn't my thing. Tried out, went there, made the team. Great story about it is my first game, and we're in the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri, and it's huge. It's like a Little Caesars Arena. It's not like a Van Andel. It's like a Little Caesars Arena. It's huge.
Right.
And first shift, I go out there, get a puck in the slot, turn around, take a shot, goes in. Luckily. And but the funny story about it is my sister and my dad were there, and my dad and my sister are walking up the stairs with a beer, and they finally get there. It was only like 2 or 3 minutes into the game. They walk up the stairs, they turn around, shoot, score. They announce it. My dad falls, spills his beer, and my sister are there, and so it's a cool story that they were there, and it kind of kick-started like my minor hockey career, and it was a pretty fun. I love Kansas City, man. It was a great time.
Yeah, now Kansas City has a pretty huge roller hockey following. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. I know you have a little bit of experience, but not a ton. We tended to gyrate a little bit more towards the roller hockey aspect of it.
Yep.
And it's tough on the west side because there's only one area to play, and that's at Georgetown in the summertime.
Right.
Whereas on the east side, there's 3 rinks within 25 minutes of each other.
Right. No, I the roller hockey aspect of stuff when I was younger playing in Canada, back home. I mean, we played roller hockey. We played it ball hockey. It was huge. I mean, it was definitely a thing to do in the summer for us hockey players. And I wish there was more opportunities here. I think that there needs to be. It teaches kids good fundamentals. It keeps them in shape for playing. I'm talking about the ice hockey aspect of it.
Yeah,
but there's just so many different things. I mean, I used to love playing ball hockey, roller hockey, and then watching the things you could do with the puck differently because everything's lighter weight. It's different. It's different surface. It's a great game, and I hope to see it more on the west side here because I think it's just a great tool if for hockey players on the ice, but also for kids that want to pursue another option. I played in Chicago actually, and they had stuff north of Chicago, and I played with a few guys that were just great roller hockey players.
they have a nice rink just outside of and just north of Chicago in Palatine, or now it's called Salt Creek. And Peter Messina and then his boys are running that show up pretty good. I remember playing against Pat Lee back in the day with him. I mean, he was just running the show in Chicago.
Right. No, it was a great time, and like I said, it's a great tool, but I mean, I just feel like it's just one of those sports that is just like waiting to boom. You know what I mean? I do.
Yeah, and it's growing drastically because like you were saying, it's 4-on-4, no offsides, no icing, but you have the playing style is possession all the time, whereas ice hockey is more of a dump and chase. But when you get those 4-on-4 opportunities with those power plays and penalty kills that at the same time, that style of play, that puck possession is crucial.
Sure.
Whereas if you're just dumping and chasing, you're just giving the puck away.
Absolutely. No. Yeah. I mean, just that aspect alone, and again, I'll relate a lot of stuff to ice hockey because, but I mean, you're right. The puck possession. I teach my kids puck possession, right? Puck support, right, and communicating. I mean, those 3 things, like in hockey. I mean, but when you're doing it in that 4-on-4 setting, it's a pretty cool, kind of style of play because, you got that 4-on-4 action. I mean, hockey's 5-on-5. A little more space, a little more opportunities, and the players that play it, I'm sure, are super creative, and they have the mindset of knowing the space and time and everything. So, I like I said, I think it's an up and coming. I hope to see it move to a different level, and I know there's been tries to do it, and again on the west side here, or I don't even know on the west side, like a lot better than I do, how much it's kind of trying to filter in, to where we are.
So from 2004, when I came back to Michigan from Illinois, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rinks that had inline hockey, and then now all of a sudden there's 1 rink that plays for 10 or 12 weeks of the year. Really? at Georgetown. Okay. And ironically, the other facility that where I got my first pro inline game was at your facility in Rockford, up there at Cedar Springs.
Okay. So when in Georgetown, what's the age gap? Like what do they start from? Do they play youth all the way through, or what is it?
Right now, I believe it's just adult only. There is a junior MOPS program that Russell Shangri-La, he is trying to upstart that youth division.
I know who he is.
Yeah. So
Russ played for Aquinas, right? Aquinas or Davenport? One of those two.
Davenport, right? I believe.
Davenport, and he came and he coached for the Junior Lumberjacks. and he ran the treadmills. I know exactly who he is. Good dude. Very good guy.
And so he's kickstarting the Tour Junior Mops out of Georgetown, which is going to be a tournament-based organization. So they're going to hit up like the tours, the state wars, the NARCH. So they're going to be going down to Florida. They're going to be going to California. They're going to be going to just outside St. Louis, Missouri.
Cool.
For the bigger roller hockey tournaments of the summer.
Right.
They might even hit up a couple in the like the Legends Draft, which is starting to become a bigger event as well, or even the U.S. Roller Cup, which is just now starting to get into its infancy stages. They just had their first event, which had a pro division with almost 10 grand was the prize money just to win.
Nice.
So outside of the State Wars PAMA Pro Invitational, which is a $25,000 pro invitational. So there's opportunities to grow, and those events are not like 10 or 12 teams coming in. There is, almost 256 teams coming.
Right.
It's just booming.
That's cool,
like you said, it's just tough because I don't see a rink on this side that is willing to go, you know what? I have space. Let's try to create it, because on the east side, they have Michigan high school roller hockey. There is a Michigan state finals for roller hockey. With four schools.
Let me ask you this question. So you said space, state, or whatever. Like, so let's just take Lakeshore, right? Lakeshore, you've been there.
Yeah.
So Lakeshore has 2 rinks, right? In the summer, they keep in 1 sheet.
Oh, they do?
What? They only keep in 1 sheet. So what would be the surface, right? I know there's a different surface, correct?
Yeah, you're using like a sport court or a still mat tile. Yep. Which
so getting that in there and creating an opportunity is possible, right?
Absolutely.
Just need somebody to kickstart it, right?
Yep, absolutely. Because you guys here have a lot of youth that could take advantage of that opportunity.
For sure. And I know, more and more, my son rips around on his rollerblades. I know there's kids that play it, right? I know there's opportunities there, and it just takes something to start it. So, and like I said, when I played when I was younger, it was on that sport court. We would go play that in the summer to keep up our skills for the winter and blah, blah, blah. But I just think that maybe it's so foreign, maybe that's not the right word to people's thinking around here, maybe. And I think that it would take a couple conversations to maybe see, because I know that at that rink itself, they're always looking for ways to utilize that space, right?
Yeah,
because that space just goes dormant for the whole spring summer.
Yeah, I can tell you now, if we can get somebody to get a floor, because not everybody wants to skate on concrete. I can tell you that much for sure.
It's slippery, right?
It's not necessarily slippery. It's just it eats up
with
your
the right wheels, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. I use Lebeta's outdoor style when even on the sport court for reffing. As long as you don't skate on actual asphalt, concrete, or any kind of outside surface, those wheels come equipped. You can skate on that sport court style all day long.
Right.
Stillmat is a new flooring company that's coming out from the Czech Republic. They have Stillmat pucks as well. It's supposed to mimic the feel of ice, almost identical. Now, when you were saying earlier that of course the ball's going to be lighter, the roller hockey puck and the ice hockey puck is actually the same weight. The only thing that's different is that the vulcanized rubber is just denser. That's why it just feels heavier.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah.
And you have like I said, there's a high school roller hockey on the east side. All you have to do is get 4 teams.
High school?
Yeah, high school. Yeah, you got what is it? Rochester, Eisenhower, Utica, I think was another one, and there's
Utica
one more.
Eisenhower, right? Utica Eisenhower.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. They have actual teams for their school.
Yep.
And so, how long's that been in existence for?
I think it's still in its infancy as well because they're really trying
Okay,
to kickstart it up.
feel it out, right?
They
Yeah.
have a pretty good youth program going on, but ever since Joe Dumars folded,
Who?
it's kind of taken the
Joe
Joe
Dumars,
Dumars, yeah,
the
the Joe
basketball player.
Dumars. Yes, well, he had this Joe Dumars field house.
Oh, okay.
There was two sheets there, and that kind of once that went down, it kind of took some of the youth out. But it's making its comeback. Now
Okay.
you got a sheet in Fraser, which a lot of MyHa, which is an adult roller hockey league that goes from
So
Boston or
I
from New York
I
all
know
the
that
way to Chicago.
I know the one at Fraser because I believe there's also one in. Oh shoot, where did we play last
Taylor,
year? Yeah, but there's also one in.
the
Where did my
JCC,
team
which is
play last year? There's one. So coaching youth hockey last year, we used to warm up on a lot of the roller hockey. I know there's one in Fraser.
yep.
Where was that one? It's where the Flint Powers play. So it would be in
Oh.
Saginaw-ish.
Oh, so that was probably up at Mount Morris. No,
No,
it can't be.
it
That one
was
just went down.
it's in the rink. So Flint Powers plays in the rink. That's their home rink, and it's in. Shoot, man, I can't. But we definitely warmed up on a sport roller hockey court
Okay.
rink, and it was. I'll get back with you. I'll figure it out. But anyways,
Yeah.
we've done it, and so I know the one in Fraser for sure.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So
Yeah, and you guys got the teams. I mean, you got Mona Shores, you got Reese Puffer,
Yeah.
Grand Haven's right there. That's what I was like trying to bounce back some ideas with you on. Like, man,
Yeah.
we need to get some off ice training going on here because it could really be booming. And not only that, but then you guys could start dominating in the ice hockey.
right. Yeah, man. The biggest thing, like I feel you on that, on the training aspect of it. So like my background, like with hockey, like so when I came, I would always have off season jobs. I would do whatever, and I worked as a personal trainer for a while. We did stuff. I actually ran personal training for gyms around the local area for 7-8 years. And I ran sports specific training for kids. I don't think ever since I've stopped playing that I haven't ran some sort of on ice, off ice training for kids. I moved to Chicago. I lived in Orland Park. Actually, we lived in Willowbrook, which is a suburb of Detroit of Chicago.
Yep.
Orland Park. I trained the Chicago Fury. I also trained the Chicago Young Americans. And actually, so what's his name was there? Who is the guy that we trained there? I don't know. Anyways, where I'm going with it is that there's a lot of opportunities for that off ice training, and here, if you go to Chicago, it's all there's a lot of people that are willing to pay for it, right? You come to Muskegon, you come to this area, it's a lot of blue collared, right? And it's different. And the other thing that's different is they're willing to go outside of their schools to do it. Here, everyone thinks, well, I got it at my school. I got it at my high school. My athletics department will do it. This will do it. And that's the problem. Like downtown Muskegon at the Trinity, I mean, there's been a training facility there with AstroTurf. They've changed it out. They've had stuff there. And you can't get the kids to come in there to make it sustain because they're going to their school or something happens. It's a different mentality over on this side of the state, and you're trying to change that mentality. Now you have people that will do it, but enough to sustain and make it worthwhile is really hard. You know what I mean? So
well, but that's where if you can get Lakeshore's arena. I mean, just throwing that out there.
Right.
Not the actual Trinity Health Arena, but Lakeshore with that one sheet in the off season, to really get these kids in, as part of their like the Junior Lumberjacks organization. That's going to help them out, especially come later on, because now you got to remember the wear and tear on your body with roller versus ice is going to be drastically reduced. Sure, you're
Right.
going to have little strains and stuff like that, but as far as when you slip and fall, you stop. You don't slide into the boards, crash into the boards. You
Right.
just had a player that I watched, a couple
Traverse
nights
City
ago.
West.
Yeah, he had the same thing. He got tripped up, slammed right into the boards, and now he's fighting for his life to walk
Yeah,
again, right?
yeah. So yeah, the kid from Traverse City West. Yeah, definitely. Um, he, and it was a subtle movement that it was a kind of a jab. He was going for a puck, and he went headfirst in the boards. And yeah, I mean, it's tragic. But what we've heard is he's going to make a full recovery, which is good. So
That's amazing because
I know
that sounded like that was a brutal
it.
run into the boards.
It definitely was, yeah. No,
Yeah.
and he is, yeah, definitely lucky. Saw a picture of him with his teammates there. He's got a cone. I heard he's going to be in a cone for a while to help stabilize himself. But knock on wood, thank God that he's going to make a. So what I've heard, he's going to make a full recovery. So
Cool. Well, and I can't wait to see him back on the ice. Hopefully, but if not, there's always a future with roller hockey because,
yeah,
now you got the College Initiative Roller Hockey Program, which is now helping kids who play roller hockey get scholarships to play
okay,
college hockey in the college world.
okay. Do you ever see it moving to a sport higher than, high school or anywhere? It's still in the infancy stages, I know,
Mm,
but is it something that
Here in the States, it's going to be tough, but there are
Yeah,
already, there are already established pro leagues throughout the world. So you have
right,
a pro league in the Czech Republic, you have a pro league
yeah,
in France, you have a pro league in Spain, you have a
okay,
pro league in Italy. However, the Italian there's something going on in the Italian league that nobody has figured out what's going on with that because a lot of the Americans that were playing in Italy are now playing in Spain or France, and France has probably one of the deepest professional inline hockey leagues in the world at the moment. Followed by Spain. Um,
okay.
you have a relegation system, so they have like a tier one and a tier two, with both, with anywhere from 15 to 20 teams.
Okay.
So I mean, and you're seeing a lot of American teams going over, or a lot of Americans, not American teams, but a lot of Americans going over, who represent Team USA, or playing in the PAMA Pro, or Narch Pro, or
Mhm.
even the Tours Pro, which coincidentally had Pat Maroon of I
Yeah.
think he's with the Minnesota Wild right now. He was
Yeah, he
playing with the
is. I
Tour
mean,
Roadrunners. Yeah.
you get that guy on your team, and you're guaranteed the Stanley Cup Finals. I think he's won it the last 3 years. So,
Pretty much,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, so I mean,
yeah.
you have all of these guys, and then not only that, but then you have guys that are like Connor Bedard from Chicago. He just went number one. What's he do in the off season? He plays roller hockey.
He does.
Yeah,
Bedard. Okay.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I would figure that a lot of these guys, it just keeps them in the flow of, oh, I gotta make a call out here. Austin Matthews just scored his 50th goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Hey, and he did it in his hometown of Arizona,
There you go.
or home state,
Well,
home
it's
state.
home.
So
Yeah, because they're playing
home
at what,
state.
Arizona State.
They're playing at Arizona State right now, and he just scored his 50th in probably like 55 games. I don't know.
Yeah,
So he's on pace for a bunch, but
it's
so
crazy. Both him, McKinnon, and who was the other one
Washington.
that was just
So
on fire?
him, McKinnon. I mean, goal scoring wise,
Oh, McDavid. That's what it was.
well, Dreisaitl's. I mean, David's on a point streak. He hasn't scored as
Yeah.
many, but Dreisaitl's scoring. Rantanen from Colorado.
Mhm.
He scores a bunch. I mean,
Yeah.
but Matthews is he's just unbelievable. So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry
That's
about that.
great. No, you're good.
I'm a big Maple Leaf guy, so
Yeah, we can't tell with your Toronto Maple Leafs lane
right,
logo behind you.
yeah.
But
I'm a big Maple Leaf guy and a big Kobe guy. So Kobe, Maple Leafs, Ted Lasso. Those are my guys. So.
gotta love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have all of these big guys that are playing in those roller tournaments, playing overseas to get those guys to commit for a full season over here. It's very tough because there's really not much money out there yet. Not like it was with the RHI back in the day, you know.
Right.
So I mean,
How do you so do you, like again like I love the roller hockey aspect of everything. I think it's great for players, but like what do you feel like needs to happen? Like what do you need people just to believe in the product, or like do you need what do you need? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you would need to start. I don't want to say you don't want to start locally because you have amazing talent out in California at the rinks or at the Irvine Rinks facility, which is a Ducks owned facility, I believe. Vegas also has a nice little rink too, with the Najars, with Palma, and Palma is huge throughout the world. I mean, they're doing all types of humanitarian work with bringing roller hockey to areas throughout different countries throughout the world that doesn't have roller hockey. Like they're going to, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina. They're going to Africa. They're going to all of these different countries to help bring awareness that, hey, you guys can play roller hockey to sustain, because it's almost like soccer, outside of the US, where it's just huge everywhere else, and it's almost like a niche sport here in the States, because everybody is so focused on what baseball, football, hockey, and basketball.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean those. Yeah, I love it, man. I think it's one of those, like I said, one of those sports that's booming that could. You just need to figure out the right way to market it. And you think in the States and in Canada, there's enough players that would be like, yeah, I want to do that in the summer when I'm not playing. And it might not be every player, but you should get there. I can't believe there hasn't been enough like players in the NHL or whatever that haven't jumped on board and been like, yeah, I played roller hockey when I was a kid. Like, I just don't.
There's a lot, to be honest with you. And on top of that, the roller hockey game is a lot faster. It's actually picking up a lot faster as far as the gameplay than ice hockey. Because you've got guys that I think Ethan Frank just outskated the fastest skater, which I think they're the fastest skater in the NHL All-Star game was what? 13.072 or something like that?
I believe it was McDavid, right? And
right. Yeah.
Hit Barzell. Yeah. I just watched the skills with Zach.
Yeah.
It was sub 14.
Right. So then you have Ethan Frank. He skated was it 13.032. So it's faster.
Same size rink.
Same size rink.
Everything's the same. No different.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Like, yeah, I mean, it's
and on top of that, you're going 4-on-4. You're not going 5-on-5. So your square footage increases per player. Your time of possession per player drastically increases. It's one of those events that, or it's not events, but it's a skill set that says, hey, now I have to think about what I'm doing with this puck. What are my options? Instead of going, okay, hey, I just got to dump it to the corner and hope I can beat the guy, too.
Right. So, and you said it earlier. So go back to me. So you said there's no icing.
There's no icing and there's no offsides.
So there is only a red line?
Yeah. So center ice. Yep. So you have offensive zone and a defensive zone. That's it.
And it doesn't matter. So one guy can stand at the offensive zone the entire time and not even go back.
You can, but that guy that does that will get mercifully teased out the building because they make you bust your ass, to get back and play, to forecheck, back check, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
you're not going to have the one fat guy down in front of the goal the whole game.
Sorry,
I can tell you that. Yeah, that it's not like it was, back in your youth days,
right,
where you had that one cherry picker guy.
right,
It's completely different as you get up there, because now you have, instead of two guys that can skate really fast, one on each
right,
team, or two guys,
right.
4 guys, you have 12 guys that can skate, from end to end in
a guy,
2 seconds.
So this whole time I've been trying to think of the guy's name I know in Chicago, and his name, I want to say his name is Andy Cripps.
Yeah.
Andy Cripps.
Andy Cripps, Team USA member as well.
So I played with and against him when I was in Chicago, and he was based out of, that's Chicago area, Andy Cripps. Yeah. So I mean, we played with and against each other. I played an all-star game with him, and then we played against each other. But he was a skilled little guy, man. He was great, man. Great hands, unreal hands.
Andy Cripps,
roller hockey just came to my head right now.
With that. Yeah, and roller hockey helped him out with that. Yeah.
Oh, for sure it did. Yeah.
Yeah, so. And it's one of those things where, and if you're not the biggest guy, roller hockey is definitely going to help out. Improve your skill set on that, because there's no checking for sure. You can play the body, a little bit, but it's not like you're going to get, somebody that's going to
open ice hit.
Exactly. Right. It's not like it was with Major League Roller Hockey, where that was full contact. That had offsides, but it was center ice offsides. So there was no icing as usual. But yeah, and I could show you a video of one of my teammates that just got blasted. But I won't show it to you on this episode, but I'll show it to you in person when I see you.
But I'm sure there's some pretty big collisions that happen, inadvertently.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So. And that's part of the game. You get that. And then, but yeah, so circling back, but yeah, there definitely needs to be, like we were talking about earlier, is that it would be nice to see the youth guys, go, hey, I don't have anything to do. I'm really not interested in doing, lacrosse or football or
baseball,
soccer, or baseball. I just kind of want to, but again, as coaches, you want to see those kids do multiple sports, because each sport brings out different skill sets that are going to improve your skills, on your chosen sport. That's for sure. Yeah.
As a coach now, and being older and slower and fatter and not as good as I once was, I definitely love athletes. That's what I try to preach. I want an athlete, because athletes get more than just a one-trick pony, right? So I totally agree with you. I mean, I want kids to play other things, but I would still love them to stay, stay in their craft, and still stay up to par on their skill set. Go play baseball. You're a hockey player. Go play baseball. Go play soccer. Do whatever. But you can still do the other two, and make sure you're keeping up on your skills and stuff, right? So I believe in that.
How cool would this be if you had an opportunity to go, hey, you know what? You can play your high school baseball, your high school track. You can do your high school lacrosse. But then one night a week, you come, you skate, you play a little roller.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you 100%. It needs to be something that they can do, and it can start out gradually, right? You know what I mean? Like everything doesn't start out like 100. You got to start it out, and you got to introduce it. But I really, really feel that there's enough kids, there's enough people around here, and I know there's facilities here. Like I definitely know there's there, and there's enough people around here that support the game of hockey that I don't think that they would be they would be to pro it. And so, like, to start it up, you need to lay down a court, right? You need to lay down your sport court, right?
Yep.
And then other than that, you need the pucks.
Yeah, which is nets. Pretty easy to get a hold of. Yep, nets are the same size as what you're currently using. Right. Unless you wanted to do some international style, nets to get those kids that want to try out for Team USA, that want to try out for the junior nationals,
Right.
all that stuff.
But just to get it rolling, number
you
one is you need a court, right?
just need a floor.
Floor, right? You
Yep.
need a floor, and you need floor, and you need kids that want to do it, right?
Yep, that's right. And
Man,
the crazy thing is that you could even do.
I think we got a good opportunity here, man. I think we do. I think
Well,
there's enough kids, and the more that I talk to you about it, the more that brings back the itch when I was younger of doing it to be like, even if it's nothing, it could be a rec league where the kids come out and who knows who goes elsewhere because of it.
Right.
You know?
And that's the thing. And then they're gonna want to, I love roller hockey. I've always loved it. I never really played ice hockey. I could never really get the skating I could get the skating aspect down, but for me, roller was much easier on my body coming from a wrestling background because it was virtually impossible to move me once I got parked in front of the net.
For sure.
So I was able to be like your Franzen,
that's a great
yeah
comparison. I love that's great.
or
sure.
your Thomas Holmstrom, as well as those big guys.
Cicerelli.
Yes, you throw those guys right down in front of the net to screen the goalies. Sean Avery, you have a story about Sean Avery.
Yeah. Can't talk to me about that.
I'm gonna bring it up.
Story about him
because
because
I believe that's how you met your wife, right?
Yeah, that is exactly how I met my wife. Should I get into that story now?
Go for it, buddy.
So, yes, Sean Avery, hey, great player, played in the NHL. He's been around in and out of the media. He is who he is. But so I go back to Kansas City. I played in Kansas City, got traded to Muskegon, came to Muskegon 2005, January 1. First day I get into town, we go on a road trip. We go to Roanoke, Virginia. We go to Elmira, New York. And then we finish off in Detroit at Fraser. And that's the year of the lockout. And Sean Avery, Brian Smolinski, Darian Hatcher, Chris Chelios are all playing for the Motor City Mechanics in the UHL. And I'm a 22-year-old kid, and I'm just don't know any better. And go out in a shift, and I'm like I said, I'm a rookie. I'm a third line guy. I'm going out there trying to make a name for myself, trying to keep playing some more hockey. So scrum happens, and Jordan Farmer, one of the best guys I've ever met. He lives out in Alberta. Big farmer. He's a farmer, so his name's Jordan Farmer. Imagine that. So gets in a little scrap, and we everybody gets paired off. We're grabbing behind the net, and I get paired off with Sean Avery. I'm thinking, okay, I'm with Sean Avery. The funny part is I played with Sean Avery in Owen Sound in the OHL prior to this, so we kind of know each other. But I don't know if he remembered me because I don't know what goes on in his head. But so we get squared off and we're grabbing each other, and his words to me are, and I'll never forget, "No, we're not going, kid." Blah blah blah, whatever. And we're watching these guys fight, and all of a sudden I feel boom, boom, boom. I'm like, I feel like he punched in my head, and then I grab him, and I didn't hit him one time, so I'm not going to act like that time I hit him one time. And then we went down, and we're going to the box, and there's video of it, and I'm like, I won't say the words because my kids are going to watch this. So, but it wasn't the coolest thing that I saw with him. But after that game, I knew we played him 2 weeks later. So I'm sitting in the room, I'm going on the bus on the way home. I'm like, man, I just got beat up in front of everybody. My first weekend with this team. I'm like, I can't let this happen. So Todd Nelson, who is now the coach of the Hershey Bears in the AHL, he's been in Dallas. I mean, he's had an illustrious career. He's got a lot of wins. He won a cup. I don't know what they call it. I forget what they call the AHL Cup in for ice hockey, but he won a cup there. Yeah, that's what it is. The Calder Cup. You're right. Yep, the Calder Cup. I told him, I'm like, hey, Nelly, I'm like, I went into his office like, hey, we play them in 2 weeks. I said, I know I'm not going to be out there all the time because we had Robin Bouchard, Todd Robinson, Brent Blackman, Scott Hollis. I mean, I'll keep naming them. We had guys on my team, and I'm sitting on the third line just trying to keep my spot and stay in town and keep earning a little paycheck, right? So I'm like, hey, Nelly, when we play Motor City next game, I got to fight Sean Avery again. I got to do it. And he he's like, all right, well, I said, hey, if we get up a few goals, let me out there against them. So 2 weeks goes by. That's the only thing that was going through my head. I'm like, what am I going to do? I watched it over again. I watched some of his fights that he had in the NHL. I watched all that. So we get to the game, and I'm sitting on the bench, and I probably have 2 or 3 shifts a period. We come to the third period. We're up 4-2, right? 4-2, and it's closer to the playoffs, right? It was after Christmas, so you're getting closer to the playoffs. So it's not like we could just like go out there and jump a guy, right? And which I never would do, but in his case, I probably would have. But no, I'm just kidding. But
yeah, you're not pulling a Todd Bertuzzi, that's for sure.
Right. So 4-2, and then I remember we scored a goal. I want to say it was Bouchard scored a goal to make it 5-2. So I look up at Nelly. I kind of look at him. I'm like, "Can I go?" And he's like, "Yeah." When he jumps on the ice, tap whoever is not supposed to go. Get out there and go. So he jumps on the ice. I don't remember who I tapped, but it's kind of like a blur. It's like one of those things where you black out and you don't remember. And I get on the ice, and all I remember is, so I'm going at him this way. He circles around center ice, and he's coming at me, and I kind of stand him up, right? I stopped in his shots and go, we're going. He goes, no, we're not going. And then I go to turn away, and he drops his gloves, right? He drops his gloves. So again, this is what he does, right? So grab me on. I want to say, so what he does really well is he spins you. He's very agile. He spins you in your fight, so you're a little disoriented. He hit me 2 times. I think I hit him a few times. Fell on the ground. It was a good fight. It wasn't anything, so I kind of redeemed myself. But what he did to me on the ground, and again, if he heard this, I would tell him this. And I know he's done it more than once. I'm on the ground, and he fish hooked me with his fingers. Right, growling out and fish hooked me, and I bit his finger, and I'm like so whatever. We get kicked out of the game, and this is the funny story about it. So I'm sitting in the dressing room, like, man, I didn't lose, I didn't get beat up like last time, I didn't get embarrassed, whatever, blah blah blah. But the trainer comes into me, and he goes, "Hey, I just want to ask you a question," and again, I don't know if this is okay for the pod, but I'm going to tell you how it happened, and it is what it is. He goes,
"Yeah, go for it.
Do you have AIDS? And I'm like, no. Not that I know of. I don't think so. And he goes, I said, why would you ask me that? I go, who are you? He goes, I'm the trainer for the Morrissey McKinnon. So I'm like, okay, cool. He goes, well, Sean wants to know because you bit his finger. I'm like, the motherfucker shouldn't have had his finger in my mouth. That's what I said. So sorry for the MFer, but that's exactly how it went down. However, so I'll get back to to meeting Tracy. That game, she was in the game that I got beat up. She was in the stands. So I went back home that night. Todd Robinson, a good buddy of mine, knew her, met her out that night, sitting across the table from her, kind of like this, and she asked Todd, she goes like, oh man, who was that guy that got beat up that night? And I'm like, yep, that was me. I asked her to dance. The rest is history. So, so it's a good story, but I mean, it was. I met my wife because of him, so I can't be that mad, I guess. Right. He, the fight was cool. The first one was good. The first one wasn't good. The second one was just, I didn't win, I didn't lose, and showed up. But my song every time I got in a fight was Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, but I get up again. They're never going to keep me down. But so, anyways, that's the story. So.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I believe that song is now 40 years old. No, 35 years old now.
Holy crap. Is it really?
Yeah. But yeah, so now so that's got to be one of your favorite memories. What is another memory that you have of yours that, like, hey, because you grew up on the ice, you were skating at what, 2, 3, pretty much as soon as you could walk, you were already on skates. So yeah, what's one memory that you have that just absolutely goes, this is why I love this game?
Ah, man. That's a good question. It's a very good question. So I got 2 answers for you. I got one, the number one for me, and this is by far has nothing to do with me playing. Mm-hmm. It's what I learned from the game, man. I won a regional title with Reese Puffer 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you that coaching to me a million times exceeds playing. And any accomplishment I've ever done in my life, I've won. I won with the Muskegon Fury. I won a championship there and have a ring to prove it. I won when I was an amateur. I won multiple, tournaments, whatever. Watching what I went through, and I could translate that to players around here. It just by far exceeds it. I mean, I winning that for them was my favorite memory as a hockey person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I mean that sincerely. Like, I get emotional thinking about it because like the kids that I'm connected to because of that last a lifetime. And I know the guys that I play with in the championships, like, we'll always be connected. But when you get to see the kids' excitement when you win something and you help them believe they could do that, man, there's just no better feeling, man. I mean, to me, winning that regional title with a Nolan Convertini from Muskegon, a Matt Herneman, a Chris Hawkins, Quinn Fowler. I mean, guys that are all from here. There's not words that can say it, right? Like, I mean, it's just but if you come from a personal standpoint, I mean, when I won with Muskegon against Fort Wayne, we played there. We won a championship there. It was great. I mean, it was great. My dad was in the stands. Tracy was in the stands. Her cousin who passed away, Andy Cross.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the stands. Obviously, Leslie's brother. Obviously, yeah. He was in the stands for that. Joe was there. Joe Tremblay, my brother-in-law, family was there. That was a super cool moment in my young career. I loved that. But man, there's just something about teaching kids and teaching young players what you've learned, because it's something that I take pride in. It's something that I'm passionate about, and it's by far the best moment.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, when you have an opportunity to pass on that knowledge, that wisdom that you've earned the hard way to these kids, and then they pick it up, and then they're able to do it where you wish you would have had that knowledge and that wisdom at their age, so that you could continue on, and then who knows what would have happened with that skill set. Because it could have taken you to a different avenue, or it could have improved a couple of things. But it also, you got to keep in mind too that if you hadn't had those hard knocks, you wouldn't be where you're at today, and you're sitting in a pretty good spot, if I don't say so myself. So
yeah, no, I agree with you. So some of the best players I've ever played with don't make the best coaches. Mm-hmm. I truly do believe the reason why I am a good coach, well, I like to think I am, and some people have other whatever people want to say, but it's because I had to sit on that bench and watch the Todd Robinsons, the Robin Bouchards, the whatever, do what they do. Mm-hmm. And I was a student of the game. Like, the only reason I made it as far as I did, and it wasn't even that far. I mean, I only played minor pro hockey. Like, I played in the OHL, which is a great junior hockey league. I did well. But it's because I was a student of the game, and I watched it, I learned it, I computed it, I practiced it, and I loved it. And that's what I hope to. I wear a bracelet. My dad. Here we go. My dad. He ever since I was growing up, he did a thing. It's called YGB. I know I can't see it, but YGB. He always told me YGB means you got to believe. He always instilled that in me, and it was something that every team that I'm on, I buy a bracelet. So I coach my daughter's softball team. I have a bracelet here. It says "Be a Goldfish." YGB. Ted Lasso. Be a Goldfish. 10-second memory. And YGB. You got to believe in whatever you do. My dad instilled that in me. He's a beautiful person, and he the aspect of teaching these kids and giving them back what I learned as I played. Like I said, man, there's nothing more gratifying than that. I mean, I love it, and I'm thankful for the opportunities to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm not going to take any more of your time. You got a Maple Leafs game to finish watching. What's the score, by the way?
3-0.
3-0.
3-0. Yeah, they're beating the Coyotes 3-0. So
there you go.
Yeah, Matthews got his 50th. I don't know. I just keep seeing him up there, so I don't know if he keeps scoring or if they just keep showing his 50th. So I don't know. So
yeah, well, that's cool. And keep an eye out on Arizona Coyotes Justin Zucker.
Okay.
I actually did a podcast interview with Dana Helmstrom. She has a son who passed away from cancer, who had touched Jason's heart when he was playing with the Minnesota Wild. So he's another one of those guys that it's called Tucker's Story. It's a great episode. If you guys get a chance to take a look at that, please do. And consider helping out her cause for those VIPs and carrying on Tucker's legacy as well.
Absolutely.
So there's another roller hockey connection. Like, no matter where you turn, there is a roller hockey connection in the hockey industry. Even if it's from ice, to deck hockey to ball hockey, there's always going to be a roller hockey connection. So
and I appreciate letting me come on here. And like I said, I think there's an opportunity here on the west side here, and I love your passion for it. And you need any help with it? You need anything? Let's talk and let's try to make something happen over here.
All right. Well, we'll definitely connect on that, and hopefully we can figure something out, because I really want to get some kind of West Coast versus the East Coast. I know Farinelli would love to have some more competition, especially and get another chance to get another crack at me going head to head without being on the ice again or on the court, as we like to say it. So it would be really cool to see if we can't figure something out. So
awesome.
We'll definitely shoot the breeze on that. But
cool.
That's going to do it for this episode of GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock. Thanks again, Billy Zalba. I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to join me tonight. And I want to wish you guys a good luck this Friday. You guys are taking on
Rockford Rams.
Yep. So
6:30 at Lakeshore Sports Center. Yeah, be there if you can. Root on those Rockets.
Yeah, we'll be there supporting our green and white. Even though Leslie is definitely a maize corn fan. So
yeah. I got it. Hey, but we're family, so we're good.
That's right. So all right, Billy.
All right, buddy.
Take care.
Man.
We'll see you guys.
Thanks.